Hi. So, for you guys that don't know me, my name is Elizabeth. And we're just gonna be getting ready for work. Because what else do I do anymore? you know? But anyways, let's just dive on in. I'm gonna try and start doing these. And we'll just see how it goes from here. Pretty much just a little background information. I have mostly worked in the fast food industry for a hot minute, like a hot minute. I'm not particularly in the food industry anymore, and I'm not even gonna lie, there's some ups and downs for food industry. Sorry, I also got up like half an hour ago, but now a little bit about me specifically. I'm 21, and a lot of people are, oh, you're so young. You probably don't have that much to like offer when it comes to stories like what I'm going to be talking about. But truth is, I do. Because mostly this is going to pertain to one particular fast food chain. I'm not going to say it just out of respect for their business, even though I really, really want to just tell all the crazy stories. Now, I will say this, the place that I used to work at, it was an Italian place, and it was my first job. I worked there for a while, and pretty much the general manager that was there when I first started, they're no longer there. They got fired with a couple other people, but pretty much sweet person. I mean, they were always sweet to me, but you could tell they were a little bit too old to be managing a store. And the dude wasn't like incredibly old, like maybe 50s or 60s, but overall he was pretty sweet at first. And I mean, they were desperately looking for people, so of course 17-year-old me is like, ooh. So I started working there, and it was good at first, and then the more I started working, I think the one thing I hated most was working on Sundays. Also, shout out to Buc-ee's for these awesome mints. They have them in peppermint, cinnamon. They have the orange ones. Also, they're not that sour, just FYI. Peppermint, cinnamon. Oh, and cotton candy. Cotton candy is but I mean, anyways. So, specifically Sundays, as one can imagine, is quite hectic. Now, most places, if you work in like an office or a factory, you normally have the weekend off. Well, fast food workers, we do not. And I normally did not care to work Sundays if it weren't for the people. Because the people is what really just irked me half the time. Because they would just be so rude. Especially the after church crowd. Like, you were good up until about noon, which is in my area normally what time church gets out. But even then, you're talking mostly 11 for like the early services that people get up and go to, because that's really when people start getting out of church or deciding on where they want to eat. Just really depends on your area. But no, this one Sunday, and I had been working there for a couple of months at this point, I'd clocked in for my shift, like normal. And this was like 10:30 in the morning, which is when that particular restaurant opened. So, clocked in, uniform on, and the place I worked at also had a drive-thru. And they had assigned me to sort of be a floater. Like, if I wasn't busy, and this was a normal thing, if I wasn't busy over in the drive-thru, I was always helping out front. And see, I had pretty much known my way around the building. I didn't really know much about the kitchen, but I could help with prep. I could do dishes, run front of house. I could run drive-thru, that whole thing. It wasn't until closer to the time that I had finally quit for good, because I did go back a couple of times because, you needed money. It was just ridiculous, honestly. But this particular Sunday, I had just gotten through my rush in the drive-thru, so I was helping out up front. And this was the older manager, before they were fired, was sort of delegating, trying to show people to tables, fill up the tables. Well, this one ginormous party, I mean, there were at least 20 people. And it was a big family. And they were sort of regular on Sunday. And nobody really liked them on Sundays because they were so rude. So they had taken it upon themselves to completely ignore the manager who was like showing people to tables. And just, it was ridiculous. They completely pushed 2 tables together. And I mean like 2 of our big tables, because the big booth was already taken by a big party that we had in the restaurant. So they had taken our entire middle section, because see, they had, sorry, I was chewing on the moon, but the way that this particular restaurant was set up is that when you walked in the door, the main dining area was facing out from the counter where you'd order your food. And you had like a little middle section, and then around that was like you that had the rest of the tables. This particular family had taken it upon themselves to literally take take at least 4 to 5 tables from the middle, squish them together. And normally I don't care for this. Like, I don't care if you push tables together and, do what you got to do to fit all your family, because you want to spend time with them. But they did it in such an awkward fashion. It was so hard for me and my coworkers to hand the food out, because we were fast food, but when it came to serving, you actually served like a waiter over there. And they had squished all these tables together, and it was just complete chaos, because they were complaining about food not getting out early enough, but we were like, we can barely get through. Their kids were running everywhere, making a giant mess, and it just was crazy. And that's why I hated working Sundays. And people probably won't come for me if anybody watches this, being like, oh, well, that's all on the job. No. This particular like Sunday was just chaotic. And I applaud all of my coworkers that worked that day with me. This was forever ago. We're talking at least 3 years ago at this point. But no, this happened every single Sunday. And I felt bad because where I'm at, there are restaurants around us like Chili's, Texas Roadhouse, stuff like that. And they were also packed on a Sunday. Granted, it was Sunday. Everybody wants to go out to eat after church. Why? I don't know. One thing I've told myself I'm going to start doing instead of going out to eat after church, which I mean, I don't really even go to church now, but Sundays, that's when everybody comes over to one person's house and you eat a lot of food. And I mean, like, family dinner, family brunch, whatever the hell you want to call it. That's what you should be doing with your family, not going out and harassing waiters and waitresses. Because when I did serve as a waitress, I did it for about a month, granted, but this place was so toxic. Like, I didn't even get a check. This restaurant has since closed down. I will say that much. But when I quit, I was supposed to get a last check, and I went in to go get it. One of the managers quite literally went into the back, grabbed an envelope, wrote my name on it, and stuck a $100 bill in it. I physically did not get a check, like, at all. So I'm just like, and my stepmom was like, you need to sue. And I'm like, no, it wasn't even worth it. And you want to know what? They're not there anymore. So karma. I don't even think they're the other location, because they only had two. One where I was at, and then another one in the same area that I'm working in now. But I think both locations are gone. And I mean, it's family owned and operated. Same with the place I work at now. And also, before I say anything else, this, like the Vaseline brand of chapstick, best ever. This is just the cocoa butter one. I have the aloe vera, the and the lip therapy rose tinted one as well. They're really good on your lips. Like, I don't even use regular chapstick anymore. That's what I use. Also, shout out to Five Below, because I know most of you guys don't know this about me unless you personally know me in real life. I have an obscene amount of eyeshadow palettes. These are just two of them. I have the Modern Elite as well as the Boss Lady. And they're both really pretty. And I have a couple more as well. Five Below should totally sponsor me. We love our Five Below finds. That's actually where I got this cute little headband I was wearing at the beginning of the video. Just hold the hair back, you know. Same. They have a bunch of Christmas stuff right now. And I got this kit that had like a foot and a hand mask in. They were really weird. Like, on my hands, they felt weird, but not in a bad way. It's just is really squishy. So someone with sensory issues, I would not recommend if that's not your thing, because it will mess with you. But no, after you're done with the foot and the hand mask, they have a cream for each, and they're strawberry scented, and they smell good. Also, shout out to Bath & Body Works. They have taken most of my money, but it is now winter, so I got my Twisted Peppermint. And one thing about me when it comes to Bath & Body Works that I've started doing now that I'm an adult and I have adult money, I buy them in sets. A set is roughly $60, but I normally have coupons, so it's more like $50, but still, I normally try and get the car fragrances. My two favorites that I have right now, because I got a lot for their winter collection. Let me just pull out the perfumes, because I feel like that's easier to show you guys. Well, not perfumes. Some of them have been knocked over or taken, so I'll show you the ones I got. One I really haven't used much is the Midnight Spell one from fall. I have that one. I have this, the body shimmer as well. I have the perfume for that one and the shower gel. And then a couple others. These aren't like the haunted favorites is what I'll call them from fall, but I do have just two regular. These are just the lotions because they're right next to me, but the Champagne Apple Honey I love this one. I have the body lotion. I have the body cream, the body butter, and I also have the perfume. I have the mini perfume, and I have the car fragrances. Another one that I have is Ivory Cashmere. Ivory Cashmere is this scent. It's like that nice, subtle, musky undertone of fall where it's like nice and crisp outside. Oh, it's so nice. I love it. But I have the lotion, the body cream, and the perfume and shower gel. Like, I buy everything in sets. Now, my two favorites that I have the most of right now, the one that took the world by storm this past fall, or past month before they all sold out, was Vampire's Blood. So I have the perfume, I have the body cream, the lotion, the shower gel. I have an obscene amount of hand sanitizers in that scent as well. I have the body shimmer like the Midnight Spell. I also have car fragrances. I've used all my car fragrances for that one, but I also have the Twisted Peppermint perfume, the body wash, the lotion. This is one of my favorites. I love them. I have their hand sanitizers as well. I also keep the little hand creams on me as well. Anyways, back to work. Let's talk about my current job. Now, I work in retail. That's as much as you're going to get from me because it's a pretty big place. And there's just one happened to me recently the other day. So I was at work and I was just filling a cup of the racks that we have on the floor. And a woman comes up to me. Like, I have like both hands full of clothing on hangers. I'm trying to move them from one place to the other. So as I'm trying to move them, this lady comes up to me and is like, "Hey, isn't that cute?" And like just trying to be friendly is what I assumed. So I was, customer service, be like, "Hello, you finding everything okay? Yeah, that is really cute. Is there anything specific you're looking for?" Putting that out there. And this woman is talking to what I'm assuming is her daughter or daughter-in-law who has a small child, because this was the area they were in was primarily kid clothes. And they were just looking and they saw some of our fall items on the racks and was like, "Oh, these are so cute. We should get these." And then this woman starts becoming like uncomfortably closer to me. And I mean, like, pretend this is my body. She literally was like right here touching me. And she is shorter than me. This is a full-grown woman. I mean, older than me, probably about my grandmother's age. No, probably between my mom and my grandmother's age, I'll say that. But she looked at me and was just like, "Yeah, no, I'm not really a responsible adult. I mean, I had a little too much to drink when we were out to eat." And the group that was with her also consisted of like about 4 children, all under the age of 10. So this woman was intoxicated and had children around and was like picking them up. And there's no shame. Like, if you had a little too much to drink, but you also have to, it's not best to go out in public after that unless you're like bar hopping or going to another bar. That's just my opinion. Personally, me, I would not be doing that. If I ever do that, any of my friends, any of y'all that know me in real life, smack me upside the head and drop my ass off at home. Just saying. But also shout out to Storybrooke. I got these when me and my boyfriend first got together. Well, 6-month mark, and this is actually Hogwarts I don't know how well you guys can see that. But now it has like the Hogwarts crest on it. I have the whole set, the houses and Hogwarts and stuff. But no, I work in a very touristy area. So we get a lot of foot traffic, especially on the weekends, because a lot of people come up on the weekend in general. Like Friday, they'll come into town, especially if they have kids. But normally, a lot of the older folks will come in on like Thursday. So from Thursday to Sunday, we always have foot traffic, like really heavy foot traffic. And Sunday is the day that everybody's leaving, so everybody is, ooh, maybe we should stop by there, doing some last minute shopping. Which is why today is going to suck, because with Thanksgiving, everybody was also coming into town, so everybody's probably going to be coming in before they leave. Don't ask me why, they just do every single weekend. But, so, pretty much, I mean, I do like working there. I mean, it's great pay, it's good hours, benefits, the works. But there are multiple departments because of how big said place is, we have like, oh, department for cashiering, that's what they handle as the foot traffic on weekends. And when I first started, I actually was part of that team, but I had left, and now I'm in the more retail aspect of the job. And I mean, I didn't get like a pay cut or pay raise or anything, because both associates are paid the same when it comes to those particular departments. But yeah, no, it is it's pretty nice working there sometimes. Keyword sometimes. Weekends is really where it's interesting, I should say, because people are horrendous. Like, I have been cussed out. And with most places, normally, they have a sign on the door that says, no pets allowed, service animals only. And this is something that I have talked about a lot before, because, see, I grew up in a house with service animals because my mom has seizures. So, like, I'm used to it. And I'm not saying that your emotional support animal is not a service animal. I'm just going to say that and, like, preface this. Emotional support animals, I'm not saying that they're not a service animal, but if you want them to be treated like a service animal in public and, like, have all that certification, unless you just want to be a douche, pretty much, which I highly recommend you do not do, because that, like, with most of my friends, like me and a girl that I used to work with at my first job, we normally tell each other about the drama about how bad a customer has treated us. And that's, like, where I'm coming in with this. But see, we don't allow pets. We allow service animals. Emotional support animals, unless they're certified, they're not legally service animals. I mean, my cat's a service animal. I have 2 of them. And they're fat. They're really fat. But I'm not going to walk into a store just to bring my animal with me and tell them it's a service animal. Because legally in the state I live in, you are not allowed to ask for any paperwork or reasoning why they are your service animal. I'm not 100% sure if that's like a whole nationwide thing, but I'm 50%, like, I'm not entirely sure. So, anyways, this particular day, this lady comes in, has 2 adorable puppies, but you can tell they're puppies. They're not service animals. And one thing that I was trained on in the beginning was if you see them come in with an animal, that you politely were like, "Excuse me, ma'am or sir, unfortunately we do not allow pets in the establishment." And normally you'll get with, "Oh, they're a service dog," because I'm pretty sure you can buy like the vests and stuff online now. And especially if an animal comes in with that vest, you don't question it. But you can tell that they're not. And people even have like buttons made, and they'll carry around, like they'll have purse puppies is what I call them. The dogs that you put in your purses, like teacup chihuahuas and stuff. And that's something serious in my opinion, because especially on the weekends, we don't know how your animal is going to react to the fast-paced moving environment. Because I work in a touristy area, it's not smart for you to bring your animal in. And the surrounding places of where I work, they actually also have, like, they cater to pet owners, because especially dogs, because dogs are really popular. They how should I word? They provide like patches of green. So say you're road tripping and you just stop to either do shopping, stretch your legs, whatever, there is a place for you to walk your dog, so your dog isn't just, gonna put some shit in your car. And so, and even then, I've been cussed out so much. Like, there was a lady who came in, another lady, this is separate from the one I was just talking about, came in and she put both of her dogs in our cart. Well, when you put that dog in your cart, you never know who the next person is going to be, allergic to dogs or whatever. So we have to take that cart in the back and disinfect it, and it's ridiculous. But I told her, "Excuse me, ma'am, you can't have your pet in the store." And she just went off on me. It was like, "No, I have every right to be here. This is my service animal." And after that, I tried to de-escalate the situation and was like, "Excuse me, ma'am, if you don't mind just taking them out of the cart, putting them on a leash for me." Because that is one of the stipulations. Like, if you have a pet in our store and say it's a service animal, or even just a service animal, they have to be on the floor. You cannot be, you can carry them, obviously. But if you're not going to carry them, they have to be on the floor, have to be leashed. Because I don't think they necessarily have to be leashed, because you can tell just by how that dog acts if they're a service animal or not. Because another lady, I love this lady so much, and her service animal was so beautiful. You could tell this dog had been trained, because she had like the dog and it was walking beside her, and she had her finger on its head, and that dog followed her finger. Every time she stopped, it sat. It was phenomenal. And me and the person beside me were just talking, and it was like, you can tell that's a service animal. So yeah, my little rant pretty much, if you want your animal to be a service animal, not an emotional support animal, a service animal, get them certified. Because another thing is that they will piss and shit in our floors, and that is not fun to clean up. One of my coworkers spent like 30 minutes cleaning up after a dog, and nobody was paying attention when the dog had actually done it. So someone had tracked it all through the establishment, and yeah, that was fun, especially on one of our busy days. I believe this was last weekend as well. But no, and then another thing is with kids, and I see, with it being a big touristy place that I work at, there obviously are going to be families with like a lot of kids. During the summer, we got a lot of people with family reunions coming in, so all those kids were there. And most of them were grown, but even mostly the itty bitty ones. This is a PSA to parents. Parents, keep an eye on your kids. Especially like 10 and under, if you are walking through a store. Like, I didn't like it growing up, but I honestly thank my dad for it, because now that I work in this industry, I realize how much of a nuisance I really would have been if I did not listen to my dad. Pretty much, a bunch of kids will keep running around, and I mean continuously running around in your area. And see, we have like these little carts to roll out a bunch of product on, and this one particular day I almost ran over a kid because the parents were distracted and not watching their child, and the child was just running around, and it's a pretty big place. Like, my mom would have held my hand and be like, no, you're staying here. And that whole thing. But no, she quite literally just it was a whole thing. Whole with her not being able to find me, because there was one instance my sister actually got out of my mom's grasp in a really big place, and my mom was freaking out for like a solid 5 minutes. But no, just keep an eye on your kids, especially in that big of a place, because it's not like ginormous, but it is pretty big, and we do have a lot of staff on hand, and a lot of these staff also use carts in their different areas. So honestly, either discipline your kid to know better than running through the store, or keep an eye on your kid and make sure they stay out of the way. Because a lot of parents, like, this is not for the parents who actually, have their child. Not saying that children don't have their little tendencies to run out and just like run away from you for no reason. Guilty as charged. I did it as a child too. But no, there are full-on kids that I will see every single weekend, because we have a lot of locals still coming to the establishment, just running around. And I'm like, oh my God, my mom would have beat me. Like, she would have whooped me in the store and then took me home. And then whooped me again for acting out in public. I love my mom. My mom did not abuse me as a child. Just wanted to say that. But yeah, anyways, I'm gonna bring this to a close. I'll probably start another live stream shortly, and I'm gonna do like some tarot card readings for some people. Hopefully someone will watch. Anyways, bye lovelies, I will be right back.